never imagined grief could smell like gasoline and rain. That night, when the sirens faded into silence and I stood staring at the blackened wreck on the side of the road, I swore I felt something inside me die too. People told me it wasn't my fault accidents happen. But when it's your best friend, your almost lover, the boy who once made you believe the world wasn't so cruel, you don't walk away untouched. You walk away haunted. I couldn't save him. That was the only truth I carried in my chest like a blade pressing deeper each day. After the funeral, the town moved on. People whispered, pitied me, offered casseroles and tight-lipped prayers. But grief doesn't dissolve in sympathy. It curdles. I started avoiding everyone, skipping classes, hiding behind the creek of my grandmother's old house in rural Ohio. At night, I sat on the porch swing, the wood groaning beneath me, waiting for a ghost that never came. Then he showed up, Ethan. He wasn't supposed to matter. Just another stranger passing through, a college kid visiting family for the summer. But Ethan had a way of sitting beside me without asking for permission, without trying to fix me. He didn't push words into my mouth, didn't hand me cliches wrapped in false comfort. He just sat, sometimes with a book, sometimes with silence. And little by little, I started to breathe again. The first time I laughed after the accident, it startled me. We were at the gas station, of all places, and Ethan pointed at a hand-painted sign that said, "Fresh worms, 24/7, like it was the most important advertisement in town. He leaned close, whispering, "Do you think people really crave worms at 3 a.m.? And I burst out laughing, loud and ugly, like air rushing out of a punctured balloon. People stared, but I didn't care. For once, the weight in my chest loosened. But healing isn't a straight line. Nights were still heavy. I dreamed of the crash, the fire, the way his hand slipped from mine as the world burned. Sometimes I woke up screaming, my throat raw. Ethan never left. He sat outside my door with a blanket, waiting until I could breathe again. "Why are you here?" I asked one night, my voice breaking. "You don't even know me. You don't know what I did." He looked at me then, really looked. His eyes were the color of honey in sunlight. "I don't need to know your whole story to know you don't deserve to face it alone." Those words pierced deeper than any sympathy I'd received. Because for the first time since the accident, I felt seen not as the boy who failed, not as the broken one but as someone worth staying beside. Still, I fought him. I told myself not to fall. Love had already betrayed me once, and I couldn't bear another funeral in my heart. But the more I resisted, the closer Ethan leaned in, not with force, but with patience. He met me in every small moment. Sitting on the porch swing in silence, walking the long gravel road under fireflies, even daring to sing terribly off-key to the radio just to make me smile. Terrified me how much I wanted him. The first time his hand brushed mine, it felt like a spark so simple, so human, but my body flinched like I'd been burned. He didn't pull away. Instead, he let his fingers linger warm and steady, as if telling me, "I'm here, if you're ready." And maybe, just maybe, I wish healing had been a single moment, a clean break from the grief that tied me to the past. But it wasn't. It came in fragments, like glass scattered across the floor, sharp and uneven. Some days I felt almost whole. Other days, I bled on the edges of memories. Ethan never asked me to hurry. He simply stayed, steady as a lighthouse on a foggy coast. By August, the air turned heavy and sweet, cicadas screaming from the trees. That summer belonged to us in ways I didn't understand until much later. We found rituals. Morning coffee on the porch, long drives to nowhere, and quiet nights by the lake. I used to stare at the water, the moon carving a path across its surface, and whisper apologies to the boy I lost. Ethan never interrupted, never tried to stop me. He just sat close enough that I felt tethered to something real. The turning point came one night in the middle of a thunderstorm. The rain hammered the roof, lightning flashed against the curtains, and I woke gasping, choking on the memory of twisted metal and flames. I stumbled into the hallway, my chest tight, my legs weak. Ethan was already there, barefoot, hair mussed from sleep. He reached for me without hesitation, and for the first time I didn't pull away. I collapsed into him, sobbing like I hadn't since the funeral. My fists clutched his shirt, my body shaking. I should have saved him, I cried. If I'd pulled harder, screamed Ledaire'd still be here. It's my fault. Ethan held me tighter, one hand at the back of my neck, grounding me. His voice was steady, even over the storm. No, it wasn't your fault. You loved him, that's what mattered. And I know he'd never want you to spend your life punishing yourself. Something in me cracked wide open then. The guilt had been my anchor, my excuse to drown. But Ethan's words dragged me to the surface, forcing me to breathe. For the first time, I realized maybe grief and love could coexist, that letting go of guilt didn't mean letting go of him. The storm passed by dawn, leaving the air washed clean. We sat on the porch, wrapped in a blanket, our shoulders pressed together. My head rested against Ethan's, and for once, I wasn't haunted. I was simply alive. By September, the leaves began to change. I knew our time was running short, return to college soon, and I'd have to face the question I'd been avoiding. What comes next? The night before he left, we drove out to the edge of town, where the fields stretched wide under the stars. We spread a blanket on the hood of his car, staring up at the sky like kids daring to dream. I don't want this to end, I whispered. Ethan turned, his profile carved against starlight. It doesn't have to. Distance doesn't kill something real. But I need to know, are you willing to try? Fear clawed at me. Love had already cost me once. But when I looked at him, at his steady eyes, at the quiet patience he had given me all summer, I knew the truth. I wanted him, not as a replacement, not as a distraction, but as someone new, someone who chose to sit with me in my darkest moments and never flinch. So I leaned in, my lips brushing his, hesitant at first, then deeper as his hand cupped my cheek. It wasn't fireworks or explosions. It was gentler than that, a promise whispered in the quiet of night. You are not alone anymore. When we pulled back, my voice shook, but my heart didn't. Yes, I want this. I want you. Ethan smiled, and in that smile, I saw the future I thought I'd buried with the boy I lost. Not a future without pain, but one filled with second chances, with nights under the stars, with someone willing to walk beside me no matter how heavy the road. The next morning, I stood on the porch as his car pulled away, the gravel crunching beneath his tires. For once, the goodbye didn't feel like an ending. It felt like the beginning of something I never thought I deserved. Hope. Months later, when the first snow fell, I found myself on that same porch swing, a mug of cocoa warming my hands. My phone buzzed a message from Ethan. Look outside. And there he was, standing in the snow, cheeks flushed, suitcase at his feet. I rushed down the steps, my heart pounding. You're supposed to be in class, I said, breathless. He grinned, brushing snow from his hair. I'd rather be here, with you. The world tilted, the porch light casting us in a golden glow as snow swirled around us. He stepped closer, wrapping his arms around me, and I let myself sink into him fully, no hesitation this time. The grief never vanished. I still carried it, a quiet ache deep inside. But now it no longer defined me. Because standing there, in the cold of winter, I knew I had found something stronger than loss. Love had found me again, soft, patient, and unyielding. And this time I wasn't letting go. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.